Hey everyone. Thanks for watching this highlight video from Fall 2025, Class 6. We called it What Happens Next. And this class live stream happened the day after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And keep in mind that there was very little known about the shooter at the time. The shooter wasn't even identified, actually. And even in that uncertainty, students were willing to come forward and speak on one of the most sensitive issues in modern American history. And so I think they deserve a lot of credit for that. And you're absolutely free to disagree with their ideas, but please don't attack students themselves. Without their willingness to share openly in front of the class and in front of the live stream, which means the world, this conversation wouldn't exist at all. And it's the reason we took comments off of the live stream. And we'd like to turn them back on, but the amount of angry and annoying posting and particularly attacking of students was just too much. And a healthy dialogue is what we're asking for. Remember, this is a classroom. So thanks.
Hey, what are when you think about this, where we're at, and we think about 9/11, we think about what happened yesterday. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of that might happen next?
The thing I fear the most is retaliation. Just because we live in a world where retaliation is such a common thing on both sides in any issue, and with Charlie being such a high profile, he raised millions of dollars for the right-wing party, endorsed candidates. I just feel like it opens the door for someone else who feels passionate to do it to a leader on the left.
Mm-hmm. So what does retaliation look like when you say that? What?
I could see, for example, because I was just having a conversation with friends about this. Kamala Harris is going on a book tour. And I believe President Trump got rid of her, I think it's called presidential security or whatever that she had. What if she has one in Philadelphia coming up in a couple weeks? What if she goes to that and someone wants to retaliate and says, I'm going to go to Kamala Harris's book tour and do what they did to Charlie?
Mm-hmm. Hey, by the way, I like that you said some of us, not them. It's some of us, right? Yeah. How about somebody else? What are you most afraid might happen?
I think, our guns getting, the laws changing. The laws have changed in Massachusetts already. You can't even have a Glock anymore. That's just a handgun. It's not an AK-47 or an AR-15. It's a handgun.
Well, so you're afraid, actually, of clamping down on the Second Amendment.
Yeah. Because guns don't kill people, cars don't drive drunk, spoons don't make people fat. People kill people. Mm-hmm. People are sick, and they're the ones that kill people.
Mm-hmm. By the way, can I just tell you something? There are a ton, so many Second Amendment people watch this class, so you made a lot of friends right there. By the way, okay, somebody else.
Well, I think that was a really good segue into this. I think with the combination of possible retaliation and the lack of gun laws, wouldn't gun laws be better if there is a fear of retaliation from the left?
Yeah.
I think the problem with taking away or putting any gun laws into play is you're going to create a black market for guns. There's already a black market. There's already ghost guns, and it's just going to be just like weed, just like cocaine, just like anything else that gets on the street.
Well, from what I know about Saudi, we don't really have the choice of being able to own a gun. So I feel like seeing how our life is there, we don't really see as much gun violence or terrorism as you said it in our country. So I kind of don't really agree with his point about it's based on people. I feel like if you're giving people a choice to own a gun, then...
All right. So listen, I want to it's not that I don't want to touch guns, because I'm happy to touch guns, right? But I want to go beyond that. We're beyond guns right now, y'all, right? Like we are from what I'm seeing here, this thing could go south. Okay? You know what I mean by that, going south, okay? It could really spiral. It's being afraid, like things going south, right? What's that look like to you guys? Or are you afraid? Do you have any fear of that? Like, y'all are young. You know what I mean? Like, you're just starting your lives. Like, I'm at the end. Like, I'm looking around and I'm saying, well, if it goes south, I got my best years in. So,
I mean, even to touch on back to the point of like, what can we learn from it? I'm afraid that, because I already feel like we're at that point kind of, but like, I'm afraid that people are going to continue to not know how to get things done in this country, or like realize where their anger needs to be directed. Because to the point of what I said about Charlie Kirk being like he was a big influence on the right-wing party. He raised money, but he was not a politician. He did not sign a bill. He did not have any like pen to paper influence on any type of policy.
yeah.
And I feel like people lose the scope on their city council, their school boards, their state legislature, that actually put pen to paper on how our day-to-day lives look, our economy looks, school policy, and that's where our real anger and our real attention needs to go to. And I feel like a lot of these influencers, they take up all this attention, and then people they don't direct their anger and their attention to where it needs to go to actually make change in this country.
Okay, so that's interesting, actually, right? All the time people spend on making comments on Reddit or TikTok or Twitter or X or whatever it's called, or Facebook, whatever social media they're on, they could actually go out and visit their local school board sessions or city council sessions or run for something or whatever the case is. There are a lot of things they could do.
I do. I think another fear is maybe someone taking it upon themselves to handle his unfinished business, because I'm sure a lot of people that supported Charlie Kirk feel like, oh, he's gone too soon, he wasn't done, like the things he was pushing, he was making change. Other people may feel the need to echo him or carry on the rhetoric he was pushing, and I don't think that's beneficial at all.
Okay, so for you, actually, so you're someone who, for the most part, there are many things that Charlie said that you would agree with.
That I would agree with?
For sure.
No.
Well, listen to what I said earlier. He said the guy was talking every single day, just like me. I have thousands hours of video. He has probably 100,000 hours of video. There are things that he said that I will guarantee you would say, oh yeah, a lot of things that he said that you'd be like, yeah, that's actually a really good point, and that's a smart point, and that's good, that's bad,
Oh, I'm sure, but with the context and with just everything altogether, Charlie Kirk as a whole, I know I do not agree with. He could say and have, some clear points that are factually true or statistically true or morally true in rare cases, but that doesn't mean I agree with him and everything that he did. I wouldn't even say I agree with him.
It's not everything. It's some things, right? And so,
Sure.
And so that's just kind of like me. It's like anyone. And there's nothing that if you decided, hey, I'm going to pick up and do what Charlie Kirk did, or any of us in the classroom, right? And you would think, yeah, I got these really good ideas, and I'm going to push them forward. Immediately, you just start saying things that, you think are really thoughtful and smart. And then, half the people are like, oh, this person's a jerk, like whatever. And so I get what you're saying. Like, you have your own kind of personal vision of the world, and but you also understand that, right? Okay, all right, that's fair. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
I'm afraid that, like, you know, people laugh about this. Like, I've seen it on TikTok now. Like, people are laughing that, you know, an influential person in our world that made us question our beliefs, just like you do yourself, you know. It's not funny. No one should die, right? Everyone has the right to live. That's another one of our rights in the United States.
So what's your fear of that? You know, people not taking this seriously. And
I think just because the person died, the voice doesn't stop. Someone else is going to fill his position sooner rather than later, and, you know, everyone's going to have to live with it. And, you know, I fear that it's just going to happen again, and history is going to repeat itself once again.
So you're this college student coming down here from Boston, right? And you're studying at Penn State. You're spending a lot of money here at Penn State to study, right? You want to be challenged. You need people in your life who are going to say things that challenge you.
Yeah, that's why I didn't stay at school in Boston.
Yeah. Okay, so listen. So, for example, you're a supporter of the Second Amendment, right?
Yeah.
So you then,
Well, I think in general as an American, like, no matter what the amendment is, what amendment, like, or what the Constitution is, I think we just got to back the Constitution altogether.
I got you, man. You're a supporter of the Constitution. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I hear that. Yep. And so, but you know, for you, then it becomes this thing where it's really good for you to completely engage people who would, like, nitpick the Constitution, right? That's important for you, right? That's how you're going to grow intellectually and so on, right? Hey, I have another question. Yeah, go ahead.
One quick point. I just want to the fear thing, right? Another fear of mine, and it goes to what I was saying about the attention, is there was a school shooting yesterday, and it's concerning, and it's a fear of mine that even on the slideshow, there wasn't a picture of the news report from the school shooting yesterday, where I think it was 4 kids who were in critical condition, also due to firearms. And so, like I said, this is just the thing of attention, right? Where the attention of, like, where we need to really be focusing on how to change our world, and not even just our world, but our country. It's just not being put on the correct situations. And like I said, Charlie was a very influential figure, and it's something we should talk about, something that will impact the future and how we approach things. But there are other situations that are going on even more frequently that I feel like we should be having conversations about.
Yep. I have a question for all 4 of you, whoever wants to take it. Do you guys how often do you think about us spiraling into some kind of civil war? Like, really, like, the violence just grows and grows and grows, and it gets to this kind of, oh my God, we're here, man.
I would say often.
Yeah.
You know, the reason I say that is, you know, this is only one example of an assassination. There's many, and there's been many school shootings. We've normalized school shootings to the point, you know, they happen every week, every month. At beginning of the school year, down at UMass, or up at UMass, Georgia last year, like, you know, it happens all the time, and it's just, like, normalized.
Okay, but now go to Civil War level.
But yeah, that's what I was going to get to. You know, we've cut a lot of funding for mental health, but you know, mental health can only make people more crazy. And if someone says tomorrow that we want to have a civil war, and they start, you know, bashing sides, or someone goes attacks the White House, like that happened on January 2nd. What day was it? 6th. 6th. Sorry, I was going to say 7th.
Bro, I want to tell you something. All those a lot of those Second Amendment people, friends that you just...
Yeah, I didn't support that event at all.
You just lost half of them.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
That's really too bad. Because that should never happen. You know, that's a government building.
I got you, man. I'm just letting you know
that
your friends are coming and going.
I think that could really started one.
With past terrorist events, our nation has kind of come together and united against it.
Yeah.
And yesterday there was a division.
Yeah.
And people are taking sides.
Yeah.
And there's no sense of a common goal. Instead, it's separated into a few prominent ones.
Yeah. Right. So that's like, you know, when, like, for example, in 9/11, when 9/11 happened, everybody was just, we were having dialogues, conversations at World in Conversation, right? Everybody who feels like, oh, I'm not an American, and, one of the things like this country never really accepted me or whatever. A lot of Latinos, a lot of black people. Everybody was an American then, man. There was no and you know who the most, just out of an interesting thing, because you wouldn't know this, but I can tell you this, the most anti-Muslim, pro-American, prejudice, hate, I'm going to use the word hate, but with a small h, people in our groups were African Americans. And I'm like, dude, what? And to my wife and I, to this day, we look back at that and damn, y'all, what the hell happened? Then this outside enemy came, and you're like, boom, Anyway, bro, are you responding to this question? About what you're afraid of?
Natalie. I was gonna respond to Natalie. I kind of disagree about how 9/11 united us, considering that it was a deliberate attack on a specific group.
Yeah.
We started attacking Middle Easterns. We started having this rhetoric that they were all terrorists, which is still something that a lot of Americans hold to be true to this day, which is, I think, horrible. And so I think this is just another instance of terrorism dividing people.
Okay. Okay.
So I disagree about,
Yeah, hang on. Okay, so let me respond to Natalie and what I just said.
Okay.
It momentarily united everybody momentarily, okay? Everybody had flags out. Even people who hated the United States had flags out. And then people also started pretty quickly to physically attack people who they identified as Muslim here in the United States, including many people who were not Muslim. But mostly, for most people, it absolutely united the country with an outside enemy. And that didn't last too long. And it still did, though. People supported the war. Man, they wanted to go. But I hear what you're saying, bro.
My biggest fear is exactly what we're seeing in the beginning of this class, which is we've been asking questions, and yours have been very direct about terrorism and death, and everyone's answers have always been oh yeah, but maybe my worry is who's going to fill his gap, or who is going to keep his rhetoric going, or is his rhetoric going to get stronger? Is he going to be for me, the biggest fear is very obvious, and it's like you said, in other countries, there's the culture of someone comes in a motorcycle and steals your bag. We, in the internet, and I see it with my friends this morning in the group chat and everywhere in the internet, people are like, yay, maybe he was a little out of line, but we got him killed, and that's better. There's now a gap, haha, look at this video where he said killing was worth it. Good thing he died. You're joining him. You're being a person that says, yes, we should kill people. Yeah, I am on his team. If I don't agree with you, you should be dead. We should not create a culture here where we celebrate someone's death and we're saying, oh, because I didn't agree with him, we should kill him. And even though it's joking and celebrating, you see it on the internet, and that creates small groups that encourage each other online, which creates shooters.
Bro, so here's the thing. If you can go there to say oh, yay, let's celebrate this somehow, then Jack right here, who supports the Constitution and the Second Amendment, naturally, then, we can attack him too. Well, let's go to him. We went to Charlie, we'll go here, we'll go there, let's go to Jack.
Well, I'm sure that Jack, as a person who supports guns, supports gun responsibility and supports the awareness of what a life is.
Yeah, but that wouldn't matter, because it doesn't matter. It's let's attack him anyway, just because he supports guns. So okay.
And I am pro attacking Jack all day long if I felt like it, but not shooting him.
No, I got you. No, I got you. No, but this is what I'm afraid of, right? I'm afraid that you can attack this person, let's attack that person, and this person, and then you can attack me for even asking these questions at all. Why are you positive? And we can attack you because you're a liberal, and so this on and on. We can attack you because you're Saudi, and okay, we're talking about 9/11, and you're Saudi, so okay, there are a lot of reasons there, so on, right?
There's a very important question that you asked in the beginning of the class before you asked what we're afraid of, is what we should learn.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned spiraling down, and I have a metaphor. When you push an agenda, it's like pushing a snowball down a mountain, right? The snowball is going to get bigger and bigger, collecting more snow. When you push an agenda, you're going to collect more people.
Yeah.
So if you share your ideas with people, you're going to attract people who agree with your idea.
Yeah.
If you share it verbally, you're going to get a verbal response.
Yeah.
And if you have that discussion, you're going to get somewhere, you're going to find common ground, you're going to make progress. But if you cut that discussion and respond in violence, then you're also going to get a violent response.
Yeah.
And that's going to spiral down. So we're afraid of violence because it's uncontrollable. And we need to learn to communicate without violence, because pushing a verbal agenda is going to lead to a verbal response.
Yeah.
That's what we should learn.
Yeah. How did Charlie Kirk's debate style of prove me wrong actually serve to further discourse and knowledge and community?
I mean, I think like it caused some harm in the fact where like he's telling kids that are outwardly like gaining debt for going to college to get a good education, to get a good job one day, that you're basically doing this and it's useless because you can make money further on now, like not going to college.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you sit there and like he practiced fair speech, supported the First Amendment a lot, so
And he listened to other people.
listened. I think we're looking at like, oh, he had so many supporters, but he didn't talk to his supporters. He talked to people that went against him and shared everybody's beliefs, which if you're sharing your beliefs and having civil conversations like that, it prevents violence and it prevents getting shot.
Yeah.
And I also have a question, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, go ahead.
I heard a lot of stuff about like the Second Amendment and like furthering gun laws. The whole purpose of the Second Amendment is to protect us from a dictatorship in our government. So the whole right is so you have the opportunity to protect yourself if the government goes away. My kind of question is, how do y'all like think about one political party? Because I'm very middle of the ground, but one middle of the ground is trying to strip you of your rights and not allow you to protect yourself against them, or not being able to speak out, where you see a lot of liberals nowadays are going against the freedom of speech because it causes harm. But if you're able to talk through issues, how are you causing violence?
Here, can I answer that question actually?
Sure.
First off, so you talk about individuals, people protecting themselves from the long arm of the government. You mean like when the government sends the National Guard into cities? You mean that?
I mean,
Protect ourselves from
protect
that?
yourself from anything. If
Okay,
you
I
don't
got
agree
you.
with the government,
No,
no,
I got
matter
you.
who you are.
I got you, but I just feel like I had an obligation to say that. The second thing I want to say is, I think that for me, as somebody who's very much in the exact center, straddling, I think the left and the right do a pretty equal job of shutting people down and curtailing free speech. So, for example, in this class, you know, when I came into this class and we're having this conversation, and I'm thinking, am I doing a pretty good job of this? Am I being fair? Like I'm not, okay? I'm not afraid of the left right now. I'm afraid of the right. I'm afraid of saying something that I don't even know is critical of the president or Charlie Kirk or something, and I'm going to get hammered, and the phone calls and the emails are going to go to Penn State, and I'm like, the right's going to take me down, right?
I mean,
I'm really afraid of that.
I'm from Southern Virginia, so guns are a big thing where I live, right? A lot of military. I live on the biggest naval base in the world, so you can say that you're scared of these things, but in my opinion, everybody who's died in my hometown from gun violence, or people I know that have been shot, it's not majority of the time 200 yards away from a rifle while you're giving speech. It's drug deals, it's arguments in school that cause...
Which could be a good reason to not listen to Jack here, actually. That could be a good argument to be like, we need to put some controls on. I just want to say one final thing. Bro, I like what you're saying. The other side is there are other days in this class when I'm not afraid of the right. canceling me. I'm afraid of the left canceling me. And I'm like, oh, God, I'm going to be in trouble here. So it's equal side. One day it's liberals, and the next day it's conservatives. And I'm like, oh, my God. Do you think we're more open to conversations now compared to before the internet? Ghost stories. Do you think? Well, you guys don't. How do you guys don't know. You're too young. Wait, what do you think?
I think absolutely, we're more open to conversations because, like, my mom's always told me, like, she would never have these conversations with her parents at home. And, like, her parents were very traditional Christian, and she said, like, conversations were just not talked about, like anything. Even sex, I don't think it was talked about at all. Like, none of it.
I think it depends. I don't think we have conversations anymore. Even on like our biggest stages, you look at presidential debates now, and there's no conversation being had. There's no, even like in terms of what a debate should be, it's no longer what a debate should be. You can even go back to 2012 when you had Obama against I don't remember his name. But in the 2012 election, you had them shaking hands. You had them making jokes at each other. And
20 years ago, I became the luckiest man on earth because Michelle Obama agreed to marry me. And so I just want to wish, sweetie, you happy anniversary and let you know that a year from now, we will not be celebrating it in front of 40 million people.
And congratulations to you, Mr. President, on your anniversary. I'm sure this was the most romantic place you could imagine, here with me. So congratulations.
Oh, yeah, I agree with this. And, but no, I don't agree with that. But let me tell you why. There's no proper dialogue happening anymore. And so in terms of open to conversation, I don't believe in what an actual conversation is. I don't believe we have them anymore.
I'm actually quite impressed with the levels, the kinds of conversations that people have. Now, mind you, I think that there are a lot of one-sided conversations that you see on social media, but I think, I'm going to follow Jack on this, or Jack's mom, and I'm going to say, even though you all are throwing all this stuff out there on social media, when it comes time for you to have conversations, when I'm engaging with people, I feel like people are, my students, people like you all, are more, so ghost stories. I feel like my young people are more capable of having conversations. They often don't, but we didn't either. Y'all didn't either. People didn't either when they were young.